Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of Aquaponics World. And today I am going to be doing the weekly quarter water change out. As I said in the last episode, I'm only doing the quarter water change out once a week, and I'm not doing any kind of daily maintenance on it or anything. I'm not doing the filter changes or even cleaning the filters out once a week. I'm only doing the filter replacement when needed. So if the pump isn't working right, I will swap out the filters. Basically, just trying to make sure that there isn't a lot of pee, ammonia in the water. That's the major thing that I have a problem with the fish. Goldie's still with us. Marco's still with us. Froggy Man 5000 passed. And actually, funny story, Goldie jumped out of the fish tank because I don't have a lid on it. I don't know why I don't have a lid on it. I actually threw the lid away because I didn't want it. But anyway, if you guys do get a fish tank, make sure you keep your lid and keep the lid on it, because Goldie actually jumped out of the fish tank. And all morning I was hearing flopping sounds. I got up and Goldie was in the reserve tank in that much water and was just flopping around in there, had been flopping around in there all morning. And let me tell you, Goldie weighs at least over a couple of pounds and flops pretty bad. So I had to grab her with both my hands, put both my hands around her, pick her up, because I don't have a net big enough. My net is, I have a net, but it's not for my giant goldfish. So anyway, got Goldie back into the fish tank and stuff. So yeah, Goldie's still with us. Goldie's well over 2 years old now, and has been in this tank for over 2 years. I've tried to add more goldfish and more things. They usually don't make it, but what I'm trying to do is just get an aquaponics system that will work. I know that a lot of people are trying to keep pets and have fish for pets and want to have a bunch of plants in there and pretty little lights and rocks and stuff to make it look all pretty. They want their water to be perfectly clear. I realized that I am not concerned with any of those things, especially not the clear water. I really don't care how clear my water is. All I care about is that my fish stay alive. And another thing is, forget about the little pinch feeding. I'm feeding Goldie as much as I want to feed her again, because I want my fish to get bigger faster, right? And if I feed them a pinch, they don't get bigger faster. I need to feed them more. So there goes the water clarity, unfortunately. But like I said, my purpose is not to have a pet. My purpose is to get fish from babies to big to edible and be able to eat some fish. I want tilapia and stuff like that. And I'm sure there's other people doing it. If you have a YouTube channel that is in aquaponics and you know how to grow tilapia, please shoot me a link to your videos. I will definitely check them out. So anyway, what I'm gonna do now is the usual weekly quarter water change out. Last week I did scrub off the glass pretty good, but every week there's a little bit of algae buildup on the glass, and I just use my nails and just scrape that off. And I know I'm supposed to not have my hands in the water, but it is what it is. So I just scrape off all the 6 sides, or whatever, all the sides of the 5 sides of the fish tank, the bottom. Make sure that it's all really clear glass, and I'll go ahead and do that right now. And then I'm also going to be using the pump down here to suck some of the water out of the fish tank and shoot it out my window. You can shoot it into totes or whatever you want, but you got to get rid of about a quarter of the water in your fish tank once a week and replace it with good clean water. That's the one thing that's the most important. The pump works just fine with crusty filters in it. In fact, they're good for the beneficial bacteria. So you do want your pump filters to be clean so that you can so that it'll work, but you know, as long as it's working, it's fine. So anyways, I'll go ahead and start draining that water out. What I'm going to do is just take this hose here. Usually I have this hose attached to there, but I must have forgot it last time. So I'm going to just take this hose here and stick it out the window. Just kind of close the window on it. And then I'm going to open up this service hose valve so that the water can come out. And whenever you open a valve or close a valve, when the valve is in line with the hose, it's open. And if it's crossed from the line of the flow, it's closed, right? So this is open. And then I'm going to close the out valve so that the water won't pump back out. You can see they're labeled in and out. I'm going to close the out valve so that the water can't go back out into the fish tank. And that automatically sends the water out the service valve. So now the service valve has the water going out of it. And that is how you drain the water out. And while I wait for that water to drain, like I said, I'm just going to clean off the glass and I'll be right back. Okay, so I haven't finished cleaning off the glass yet, but as you can see, the water level's about 1/4 of the way down. And so I'm going to shut off the water valve here. And basically when the water level here is as high as the hose is, it stops running anyways. It stops pouring the water out. So that's how I know it's about 1/4 of the way out anyways. But anyways, when you shut the water off, what you want to do is you want to shut off, or you want to open up, do it in the reverse order. So you want to open up the out valve first, and that way the water starts pumping back into the fish tank and it automatically shuts off the water out of this service hose. And then you can just close this service hose because it's not doing anything anymore right now. The only time that service hose does anything is if you close the in or the out valve over here. When you close the in or out valve, then it starts wanting to do something with this service hose. So now the next thing is obviously to finish cleaning the glass, because like you can see there's dirt back here, algae buildup back here on the back side. So, you know, the front side I've gotten some of it, most of it. It has a lot up here at the top where the water level comes down. It goes down naturally, it evaporates, and that is a layer of like residue or hard water or whatever up there. I usually got to scrub off. But yeah, I do maintain the glass, make sure that that's nice and clean. And doing the water changes helps with the clarity of the water. But other than that, I'm not really too concerned about the clarity. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and finish scrubbing off the sides. Like I said, you gotta, look at this. That is just so nasty. You gotta like really scrape it, and it just doesn't want to come off of there. But that's like the hard water or whatever from it evaporating. And then there is some like algae, the brown looking algae type stuff that grows on there. So I just scrub all that off once a week, make sure all the glass is clean. So I'll go ahead and do that and I'll be right back. Oh yeah, I was just thinking about it. While I'm scrubbing off the glass here, I can go ahead and fill this up. So this is just a garden hose and 2 like 25-gallon fish tanks as reserve tanks. So I'm just going to put this garden hose in here, and that garden hose, it runs down to my sink, and I have a sink adapter for it. I can't remember which YouTube person I was watching. I wish I could, but they suggested this, a great idea, so you don't have to carry a tote of water upstairs or to your fish tank. You just get a hose and connect it to the sink and put it in a tank near there. But you do need a reserve tank, whether it's a plastic tank or, you know, a plastic tote or something, but glass is best because you can scrub off the glass on the inside of here too. So yeah, I'm just gonna fill this up with cool water, nothing too hot, nothing too cold, and that way when I put it back into the fish tank, it'll be good. But the reason I put it into the reserve tank is to get rid of the chlorine that's in your tap water. So I put a little bit of water treatment into it, and that helps it. So I'll go ahead and fill this up, clean off the tank. Be right back. Okay, so cleaned off all the sides of the glass and filled up the reserve tank. And you may want to get a backflow device on your sink, because if you leave this attached in the water, it will suck the water back down, gravity fed back down into your sink. So that can mess up your plumbing if you don't have a backflow. But anyway, I just set the hose into an empty tank so it's not sucking water back down into my sink. And then this water right here is the reserve tank that I'm going to use to fill the water back up. Like I said, as you can see, like there was like some red algae along the inside here and along the bottom. And the cool thing about having a bare bottom fish tank is that you can clean it. So you see how the glass on the bottom is all clean. There's no algae on there. So anyway, that's the first part, and I'm going to use some of this. Put this in there. It's pretty easy. You're just gonna put about a cap full of this stuff in there, and that'll help get rid of the chlorine in the water out of your tap. Now you should have your water tested. You know, your tap water may have more than one issue. Yeah, okay, so I'm going for 5 milliliters. It's a little bit low because I have a 25-gallon tank, reserve tank. That is about right. That'll work. So with the 25-gallon reserve tank, it requires 5 milliliters. And then I just kind of mix it up a little bit. That water's really warm. Oh well. Try to make sure the temperature on your water's good. I had the hot water running for a while and I forgot, and so the water's a little bit warm, but it'll be fine. So yeah, just wait 5 minutes for that water conditioner to clarify the water, and then we're going to use the pump to put the service hose in there, close the in valve, and it'll start sucking the water from there back into the fish tank. And that's all there is to it. Weekly I do that, and I feed them a crap more food. I bought this about a year ago, and I haven't watered it. It's a green plant that has never been watered in a year. Trip the heck out. Apparently you can grow in a mason jar. So new thing there. And I should be doing videos once a week at least again. I'm starting to get back on track. I apologize for the big long delays there. I was kind of going through it, trying to figure out exactly what I wanted, because I wanted clarity, I wanted clear water. That was the whole point of doing this in a fish tank, was I wanted to have a nice clean system. But you know, I'm gonna have to accept the fact that my water is not gonna be clear if I want to do heavy feeding, and I want to do heavy feeding. So it was a big debate back and forth in my head of overfeeding, heavy feeding, you know, underfeeding, blah blah blah, dirty water, clean water. But I think I'm where I want to be. I want dirty water and overfeeding. So I know I go back and forth on this channel a lot. I apologize for that. It is a learning experience for me, and I hope that some people aren't, you know, killing fish with me, but hey, if you are, we're growing together. So anyways, I will be right back. I'm going to wait 5 minutes for this, or I guess another minute for this water to clear up, and then we'll put it back in. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes since I put the water conditioner in there, and now it's time to pump the good clean water back into the fish tank. Now this is the water that doesn't have pee in it, no urine in it, so no ammonia in it, so they're gonna be happy. So this hose right here, the service hose, you just put it into the tank, your reserve tank, hold it in there, open up the service valve first, make sure that's in the water, and then close the end valve. And as soon as you close that end valve, it starts sucking water in from the reserve tank. And so that will suck all of this water out of here into the pump, and then out the pump back into the fish tank. And as I've said before, the only tricky part with that is that you have to make sure that you don't overflow the fish tank, and that you don't that this doesn't end up empty and you're sucking in air through the line, because you don't want to suck air through that line. It'll mess up the pump, because the pump's airtight, doesn't have any air going into it at all. So you got to make sure that when you put that hose in the water, that it's fully submerged in the water, so that when it starts sucking, it's just sucking water. You don't want it sucking air into the line, because it will break the pump. You don't want to break your pump, because these things are $500. So yeah, that's about it. Not too much to it. I just wanted to touch bases with you guys and let you guys know that I have a new thing going on. I've gone back and forth, but I'm pretty sure this is the last time I'm going back and forth. The next step is going to be buying tilapia and getting a chiller. I know I'm going to need a chiller, because like I said, this water's a little warm already. When it sits in here in my house with it being 78 degrees in here, they're not going to like that. They want their water to be, you know, a lot colder. So I will be buying a chiller, and then hopefully I can order some tilapia. I don't know, but if I can, I will. And at which point then we're going to be doing tilapia, not for eating at first. I'll just do them to see if I can grow them, and it'll be like a little test, and eventually we'll get to the point where we can grow. I know that the water I just dumped out the window, if you dilute that with some water, you don't want to use straight water out of your fish tank to put on the plants, but if you dilute this pea water, it is great nitrogen source. It is a great ammonia source. So the ammonia goes into the filter turns it into nitrogen. I mean, it's a great system for making nitrogen, which is the most expensive, most needed macronutrient that the plants need. So this is a full fertilizer system right here. This will create all of the fertilizer that you need for your plants. You just have to dilute it in a certain way to, you know, mix it with some water so that it's not too strong, but you can use this as a fertilizer. So we got the first part of aquaponics going, that we're able to use this water for plants. I've done it, I've grown big plants. The second part is the hard part, is getting the tilapia growing in there. And then we'll start breeding tilapia, which should be really fun. We get to squeeze male stuff into female stuff and get it going. But anyways, that's maybe for my adult viewers. So as you can see, the fish tank's getting full, and you don't want to just be sitting there talking and forget about it, because it will overflow. You got to shut it off yourself. And since I don't have a lid, I probably shouldn't fill it to the top. I don't know. That was some Finding Nemo stuff, though. I have never seen anything that funny. This fish literally escaped my fish tank. I don't know where Goldie thought she was going. She thought she was going to the ocean. But she's so cute. She's hungry right now. I accidentally ran out of fish food, and the pet store's not open until 10, but so she's a little pissed right now, but I'm gonna go get her some food in a minute. And yeah, I don't think that I would have gotten a goldfish this big had I not overfed it. You know what I mean? And I've been overfeeding it for a long time, and it doesn't kill them. They just eat what they want, and they leave the rest. They don't overeat. At least not goldfish. And so you can toss a handful of goldfish food in there. Yes, it will get into your filter, and eventually it will make it so that it doesn't work, right? So you're gonna have to clean your filters or replace your filters, but I'm gonna do that, you know, like once a month, or maybe even once every 3 months, who knows, whenever it needs to be done. So And thank you to the people that commented about that. People have said, hey, you don't need to swap out your filters that often or clean your filters that often. Appreciate that, because I know that, you know, the people that are saying that have been doing this and have good tanks. All right, so we're gonna shut this off before I run out of water. So the first thing we do is we open the in valve back up, and then we close the service valve. And that's it. That is all there is to it. Very simple maintenance, you know, and free fertilizer, maybe free fish someday, maybe a good food source. Wish me luck, guys. See you on the next episode next week. Have a great weekend. Bye.